Hello, I'm making a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a very interesting double counter line here, which I actually got the idea of while I tried to figure out a team for Chesnaught, which recently got released with a new move, Frenzy Plant, but I thought like this would work out pretty well, and it actually really did. The thing is, with this team, you have to kind of get used to certain matchups, you have to kind of learn certain matchups, because there are basically all three Pokemon that I use here I rarely use in this kind of league. I rarely use like Conkeldurr, I rarely use the Magnezone as well as also the Hexorus, because they're all kind of unique, they're all kind of a little bit more anti-meta. It's actually kind of an entire anti-meta team here, not gonna lie. The interesting thing here is that the lead is actually not the ideal lead here. I wouldn't really recommend you to use the shadow version of the Magnezone. Please use the normal version if you have access to it. If not, you can use the shadow version, of course, like I did here. First set was pretty rough for me. First set I think I lost 4 games and only won 1. But afterwards I went on a sweep for the next 2 sets and it was like 4-1 I think twice, which was really nice. Like, this team really worked out well, you just have to get used to it. Against the Say Swap here of Gyarados, they usually go for the shield anyway if they swap it in against you. And look what you can do here with the with the Conkeldurr here. You will still get to another Stone Edge if you go for one Dynamic Punch first, which is amazing. We have now a 2 shield advantage here. Also, we don't really care about the health of our Magnezone here. We kind of got hardwalled already, so we can now throw the move here. We know that they have a Excadrill in the lead, which is really horrible for us. We can swap out and we face a Dragonite, and we're gonna go down here with 2 shields. We actually really got hardwalled the entire way through. We literally got so close of still winning this game, and we're still going to lose this game here just because we have literally nothing to do with our lead against Excadrill, which is horrible. What we have something to do against is Florges, and also we are fine with the Snorlax coming in here. They can go straight for the Body Slam if they want to, I don't really care. Body Slam doesn't do too much damage. I can go ahead and get some extra energy, go for my Dynamic Punch, and punch this Snorlax into a different dimension. Bye bye Snorlax, we see the Florges coming in. Going ahead, go straight for the Stone Edge, and I think I make a mistake here. Actually, we would have been too bulky enough to go for another Stone Edge, but no, never mind. Okay, they throw the move. There was a different game definitely that was very similar to this, where I went for the wrong move. Maybe it still comes up, maybe it's not in there. I played a total of 3 sets with this team, went really positive, can really recommend you this team if you want to run something more interesting and not the classic standard meta teams here. I just shield because I know it's Hydro Cannon, it doesn't really matter, they weren't at an Earthquake yet, but I just still kind of want to keep my Hexorus alive here and kind of want to go for the Night Slash here, knocking out the opponent. With a boost, of course, we are way better off. Actually, funny enough, I watched like a Twitch stream earlier today, and someone ran Surf on Hexorus. I didn't even know that they learned Surf. Don't know why people would do this, but it was a funny thing that I also only realized earlier on, that actually they have access to Surf. But yeah, after getting hardwalled, we have a game where we hardwall our opponents. We see another team here which looks pretty fine. Our entire team is really good against Metagross. We can go ahead and go for one Wild Charge. Insanely good swap from the opponent here. This was on 9 turns, which was like in between basically the Earthquake and the Media Mesh. Like very good anticipated by my opponent. Still allows us to farm down here with our Conkeldurr. Going to be able to get to most likely one move here against the opponent's Dragonite, which will be good. Stone Edge coming through, gonna get shielded, fine for me. Still, we're going to have some energy here on our Magnezone. One Wild Charge will not do enough to knock them out. We have to shield something here, so we're going to shield the next move. It's going to be a tough one to still win this game. But Wild Charge is coming through now. We will be able to go ahead and get the near knockout here. We can go into our Hexorus and they can go for one Dragon Claw. I'm going to let this move go through. We have to try to get the final shield from the opponent here. We see the Metagross coming in. I can go for my charge move. Please shield this, please shield this. And they do shield it. This was not the right choice from the opponent because now they're going to get a one-shot here by the Wild Charge. Wild Charge does so much damage against them. If they didn't shield this, I think they would have won this because I think they could have farmed me down and just had enough energy then, but thankfully they shielded and this allows me to win this game. Next opponent, another Metagross. We're gonna do the same basically as before. We're gonna go for 9 fast moves and then throw our Wild Charge. This time around they don't swap out, which is good for us as we can hit this one and we can swap out ourselves. We don't really care too much about the health on the Conkeldurr. This is something that I also learned a little bit. You don't really care too much about it because you're still going to be able to get to a Stone Edge against at least Gyarados here. Sadly, they outspeed me just by 1 turn. Like, so usually they're a little bit slower than this, and I would get to the move in time. This time around, I don't. Doesn't matter because I can still realign, which is amazing. And now we have basically perfect alignment against whatever they have in the back. They have a Dragon Knight in the back. Good that we have perfect alignment. I just have to go for Wild Charge now, right? And here's another issue, which is just something that's part of my playstyle, I guess. I bait too much, like I bait too often. Here at least I can catch the superpower, but like the bait really hurt me there. I will be able to go ahead and go for another bait here, which doesn't matter because they definitely have to shield here now. It doesn't matter if they don't shield or not. But it doesn't really help me either because they have a ton of energy and I bait again. I think I could have went for actually another wild charge afterwards. So this was so dumb. And I'm just throwing this game here away just because of my own mistakes. Of course, they only get the debuff now as well, which would have been better off if they got it earlier. But I would have been able to win this game, but sometimes I just bait too often. But I don't know, like sometimes I just don't play perfectly fine. But what is perfectly fine is this lead against Gyarados. Again, here, actually, the normal version of Magnezone would be way better than the Shadow version. I'm actually going to go for the bait here. I don't know why I did this. My opponent also questions my choices here as well, I think. I can let this move go through at least, and I can farm them down, which is fine for me because I can get a ton of energy now. I expect them to have something like Togekiss in the back, and they do, and it's basically game over already, right? There's not a lot that I can do here about this Togekiss. I can go ahead and go for one charge move here. Going to actually connect, which is amazing. And maybe they have something in the back that I can actually beat. We have to see. We can go ahead and go back into our Magnezone. I'm going to go straight for the Mirror Shot. No, I can go for the Farm Down though. They're going to go for the Ancient Power. I can shield up and we can see that they got boosted as well. And we see a Metagross coming in. This is amazing. We can go for the bait first. Going to get the shield amazingly as well there, as we can go for the actual charge move here. Going for the wild charge. Getting the final shield, and I just have to go for 2 Night Slashes here. I will be able to outspeed them no matter what they can do here. There's nothing that they have as an option here to win this game. They don't get to 2 Meteor Meshes in time. Meteor Mesh takes like 8 turns or like 8 fast moves from them to get to it. I need 5 to get to mine, so I outspeed them so fast that I will be able to take this game thanks to them having Metagross in the back. Next game, another Gyarados lead, very decent for us. We will see a Metagross coming in here actually, which allows us to go straight for one wild charge. I take both shield or damage, don't mind, I get the damage. I can go into my Hexorus, and I can actually take this move as well. Hexorus is really horrible against Gyarados, so I'm going to just basically get rid of this Pokemon here. Could have also went into my Conkeldurr to try to get some extra energy there, but I'm fine with getting some damage here on them. And then I can hopefully farm them down with my Magnezone afterwards, which definitely appreciates the extra energy. As we see the opponent going for one charge move here. They might have Excadrill in the back, which I'm kind of fearing, and they do have Excadrill in the back, which we can go ahead and go for one charge move here, Mirror Shot coming through, and we can go into our Conkeldurr, and you see already how much damage Conkeldurr does against the opponent. Drill Run does only around half of our health, and we will see here that we can just farm them all the way down. And I can actually let this move go through, because they're basically 1 HP, 1 Spark is enough to knock them out, and we can knock the Gyarados out as well with our Magnezone, so... First time for me at least, this time around, that we see the Magnezone knocking out the opponent's Excadrill, which is kind of funny. We will see another Excadrill coming in. We're going to go into the wrong Pokemon here. I should have went into my Conkeldurr. This again, knowing your team is very important, and playing your team for more than one game is, or like one set before, is also important. There are like some mechanics or whatever that you just have to get used to, and... For me, I'm always like thinking, when my opponent swaps out into something that is weak against my closer, I usually go into my closer instead of my safe swap. But in this case, my safe swap would have been way better because I also would have got some stone edges off against the opponent there. But we now see the Conkeldurr, which would be really good for our Hexorus. But it doesn't matter because they're going to no-shield my move as well. If they shielded there, I would have most likely lost the game. And also, like, yeah, there, for example, my Hexorus as a swap there was really, really bad. I should have really went into my Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr would have had so much more play. Would have got to the Stone Edge against the Flying type and would still preserve my Dragon type against the Fire type on the back. So, yeah, I definitely misplayed that there, but it didn't hurt me, which is nice because my opponent decided to keep his shields for the next game. And next game here as well, we're going to see a Stone Edge hitting against the Gyarados. I can let this move go through, which is fine for me. Goodbye, Conkeldurr. They're actually going to undercharge, and I just don't care. Like, if they want to give me the switch advantage here, I take the switch advantage. We see the Chesnaught, very good for me. I have no idea why they gave me the switch advantage here. I have literally no clue why. Doesn't make sense. We're going to shield up the Frenzy Plant here, most likely. Exactly, they're going to bait. Well, it doesn't really matter. We don't really want to risk anything here. We can go for a Dragon Claw. There is no reason to risk anything at all. I can shield the next move up. Is it a Super Power? Is it a Frenzy Plant? It is a Super Power this time around, as they're going to go ahead and go into their Metagross. I can farm them down. I have 2 moves stored, but I was like, I kind of want to BM them here and go into my Magnezone and just try to go for the Wild Charge, and I can actually get there in time, and this Wild Charge will annihilate the opponent's Chesnaught here. Chesnaught is just missing a little bit of bulk, or like a little bit of something in general. Not the best Pokemon to use here. Mamoswine is very decent for me to face actually, because I have 2 counter users, and also like the lead is actually pretty decent against Mamoswine still, because the Shadow Mirror Shot does actually a lot of damage against them. Against Gyarados is something that I also only learned recently. Same against also Dragonite, by the way. Don't shield the first move, because you are likely to not get to the next move anyway. Like it's just a wasted shield. You always get a shield advantage against them, but you usually don't get 2 shields against them anyway. So here, for example, I was able to still knock out the Gyarados, realign my Pokemon, which is amazing. As we see the Mamoswine coming back in, I can go ahead and go into my Magnezone here, which goes straight for Avalanche here. Don't know why they did this. We see the Hexorus coming in, and I misplay this again. I think if I went for Wild Charge, I had a good chance of winning this game, because I would have got them low enough that I can farm them down. But sadly, I didn't do that, and now we are in a spot where the opponent has the Hexorus against my Hexorus. The opponent has still a little bit extra energy, and they get to the move here already, and there's not a lot that I can do against the opponent's Hexorus. Think if I went for the Wild Charge, I at least still had a chance, but I don't think I would have won either way. Like, this was just unfortunate. Which is also unfortunate is this matchup for the opponent, because Everluck has only resisted moves really against the Steel typing. Could have Crunch, of course. I think it also learns Earthquake, but I don't think anybody uses it or something like this. But here, of course, they're gonna go for Body Slam, which does basically nothing, and I can just go ahead, get extra energy, go for 1 Wild Charge, and straight up knock them out here. Goodbye, Everluck. We're going to swap out immediately. We see a Snorlax coming in, and we see the Gyarados coming in now. This is amazing for us, because Snorlax and Gyarados are very common Pokemon to have in the bag, so we have very good Pokemon in general to counter those ones. I can go for 1 bait here again. We're gonna go for the Dynamic Punch, getting the shield again, and we know what we can do now. We're still going to be able to reach the Stone Edge in time, and goodbye, Gyarados. Or not. They're going to shield, sadly. But it's fine, because we can also shield, we can knock them out with our, with our Magnezone here. I'm actually going to overform a little bit too much. Should have done that. Should have just went straight for the Wild Charge. But I can go ahead and go now into our Hexorus against the Snorlax, and there is nothing that the Snorlax can do here to knock out our Hexorus. We're gonna try to get the boost. We sadly don't get the boost, but it doesn't really matter, because, yeah. I don't know what they try to do here. They're gonna go ahead, go for the Body Slam. 1 Body Slam doesn't knock me out either. 1 Dragon Claw will most likely do enough damage to knock them out here, and it does. Good game to my opponent there. Very well played. There are just a ton of double Steel lines in the back, which is amazing for us. There are a ton of Snorlax and a Steel type in the back, which is amazing for us. And there are a lot of Gyarados currently around, which is also pretty nice for us. What's not really nice is Dragonite for this team. There again, I think it's better to have a normal Magnezone, because you don't really run into the risk that they can just go for a straight Dragon Claw and farm you down. Like this, we can go ahead, go for 2 Wild Charges, get 1 shield. I can go ahead and shield this move up just in case they have Hurricane, but they don't have Hurricane, and I will be able to go ahead and go straight for the Stone Edge, take this move here. And now we have basically switch advantage, still our Conkeldurr a pretty okayish health, and we still have all our Pokemons available, so this is so good. 1 shield advantage, switch advantage, and 3 Pokemon against 2. It's just very nice. We see the Florgesy here. This was the battle that I meant before. I would have actually got to the Stone Edge in time, but I didn't, because I misplayed here. And that's actually going to hurt me, because I have to shield this move up now. They are pretty low-ish, but they're not in range yet for the Mirror Shot. And as you're going to see later on, I am in a pretty horrible spot now, because the opponent has a lot of energy on Florges. I can go ahead and go for the Dragon Claw. Yeah, I want them to knock me out so I can get more farm. Please go for Outrage. They go for Outrage, which is really good for us. But sadly, they are not in mirror shot range where I was now there. Mirror shot would have done like around 40%, and sadly we're going to lose this last one because I didn't go for the Stone Edge. Again, stuff which you would learn if you play this team a little bit better or like a little bit more. So very good team though. I can highly recommend you to use this anti-meta team to climb up some rating because it was a lot of fun to use. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like on this video. It's most likely one of the last Master League Premier Classic videos that you're ever going to see here because the Classic kept going to go away. But otherwise, leave a like. See you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.